Deliver Us the Moon by, and I'm gonna butcher this, Kyoken Interactive, I think. Sorry, I butchered that. I'm so sorry, guys. It's an absolutely beautiful puzzle adventure game set in the near future where Earth is on the brink. Seas and oceans have dried, dust storms threaten humans, and the Earth is pretty much a dirty, dry ball. Humans have gone to the moon, and using the MTP, the microwave power transmission, we were able to provide Earth with the energy it needed in its time of need. But a mysterious event and subsequent disappearance of the moon colonist have led to you, us, me and you together, the player, to using the last resources that the Earth has and going to the moon to figure out what went wrong. You assume the role of Earth's last astronaut to go on a do-or-die mission to investigate what happened and save humanity. You need to find out what went wrong, reconnect the MTP, and deliver us the moon. Now, according to some research I did, this was originally supposed to be an episodic game, which kind of explains some of the story openness and loose ends. Although there is an after-credit scene, Avengers style, that does tie up some loose ends here and there, but there's still a few unanswered questions overall. Which, if it makes sense if it wasn't supposed to be an episodic game, because then, the future episodes would address that. Additionally, I do have to agree with a few people who said that after Reinhold Crater Station, it feels like the game kind of falls apart, which is a shame because it's the second last part of the game, and it feels like it rushes right through to get to the end. Especially when everything else has taken its time and it's gone at a reasonable pace and built up that tension and built up this atmosphere, and lets you explore. After Reinhold Crater Station, it feels like a different game with QTEs and platforming that you didn't do in the other 2 to 3 hours previously in the game. The introduction of new game mechanics is never a bad thing. I just didn't expect it in the last 30 to 50 minutes of the game, though. Right from the opening panning shots, Deliver Us the Moon sets such a lonely atmosphere. You wake up alone, you get into your spacesuit alone, and you walk through the base to the space shuttle alone. The only other human communication, live human communication I should say, is through a radio. You never get to see them. You do get a little companion though, in an ASE robot unit that you pick up on the moon. It helps you get through locked doors. It also plays recreations of the story of the missing colonists and a couple other things, and you get to customize its lights and hues and all that stuff in the main menu. But you're utterly alone with nobody to really talk to except yourself. Deliver Us the Moon feels like a mix of 2001: A Space Odyssey and games like Dear Esther and Firewatch. Meaning, before you get on me, it means that it's an interactive story walking sim mostly. You do solve puzzles, but you don't really do much other than walk and experience the story. It does have a lot of cool little moments like the launch sequence and connecting the base to the orbiter. However, this game isn't going to be for everybody. It's a combat-free puzzle game. Let me say that again, combat-free puzzle game. You do come across hostile ASE robots, but you have no means to fight. You just gotta, solve the puzzles. Without a doubt, Deliver Us to the Moon is a beautiful game. I love space games. At the time of writing, I just bought a Lego kit for the ISS, the International Space Station. I love space, everything about space, and this game scratched that space itch, a realistic human space itch, not like a Mass Effect space itch. It sets an atmosphere and it sticks with it. From the dry Earth opening to the cold void of outer space, everything just looks and feels beautiful and lonely. The big push of this game was the RTX branding, and I played with no RTX on, and the game still looked amazing, I gotta say that. It's a mix of first-person and third-person sections that really drew attention to how much work was put into making things look almost as accurate as they could be, and almost like we use those things today. It truly feels, and logically but it truly feels like you're the only soul on the moon, almost the only soul on Earth. It feels like the Earth is depending on you, which technically they are. I'm gonna keep on with my belief that if I think you should play the game, I'm not gonna spoil the story. So the story is straightforward. Find out what happened on the moon base, deliver the moon back to Earth, and save it from extinction. And as you go through, you find out what happened to the colony. Your ASE unit plays the recreations of the events out for you in like a cutscene 3D. It's really cool, actually. And as you explore, you get to learn the stories of the moon inhabitants, played out through audio logs. You get to find out what happened to some of the crews, and you get discoverable documents. You discover what led to them leaving Earth to go to the moon, what some of the conflicts were living on the moon, and additionally, there is a big story twist right at the end that I have to admit, I didn't see coming. And if you're not paying attention, you totally won't understand what's going on. That's kind of the one downside to that. Delivers to the Moon is like short, which is never a measure of how good a game is, but it has very limited replayability, which draws attention to itself a fair few, a bit. There's nothing wrong with a short game that can be replayed a few times, in my opinion. I'd rather replay a short game a lot of times than play a long game only once. In Delivers to the Moon, you can replay levels to get all the documents and audio logs and such, although in most of the levels it's almost impossible to miss anything because everything is generally right in front of you. I've shared my thoughts about Delivers to the Moon, and at the end of the day, I could say whatever I want, but it comes down to, is this interesting to you and do you want to play it? Right now, I think the price for this short game is too high, to be straight up and honest with you. At least on Steam, $30 Canadian and $20 US. This is maybe a $10, $13 game at most, to be honest. And this is not to knock the devs, it's not worth 30 bucks. It recently did get a physical edition release, which unfortunately is the main way I would recommend buying this game if you don't pick it up on sale. The collector's edition comes with so much like vinyl, maps, comics, and a bunch of other goodies. I would either pick this game up on sale or play it on Game Pass. It's there at least at the time of writing. It's not a terrible game, it just left you wanting more, and it's so expensive for the experience you're getting. I don't know if there's any more plans for updates or sequels, but at the time of writing, I would say be cautious going into Delivers to the Moon. It's a pass, but if you really want to, I would recommend playing it.